Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Pop Go the Rockers, where we are some rock loving guys who are listening to today's pop. And joining us today is us three. It's Jerry Superman Soupy,
That's
Joseph
me.
Staub, and myself, Andy Rodriguez. How's it going, gentlemen?
I am doing freaking amazing, man.
All right. It's great to hear that. And what about you, Joe? You been doing all right, man?
Yep, doing good. Listening to lots of music, including the album that we are talking about today. So, I've really been enjoying kind of switching up my playlists lately. All these different albums that we've been talking about, and kind of influencing a lot of the stuff I've been
Yeah,
listening to, whether it be
yeah,
albums that we've already covered or some different albums by those artists or different stuff that I'm thinking about covering in the future that's been kind of making its way into my playlists.
Oh,
yeah. The
awesome.
show, the show has definitely broadened my horizons. I mean,
Yeah,
this was my mail call the other day. Dua Lipa's first album and Led Zeppelin's Celebration Day. So, and this one, Sabrina Carpenter's last one. So it's like, yeah, I mean, I love this show because like I said, it's increasing my musical taste. I always did like some pop. I mean, I heard it on the radio. And I was like, this is kind of cool, but I never really, that's about as far as I did with it. You know what I mean? So
Right.
that's what's
yeah,
so cool about this
same.
show, man.
Yeah, but
Really,
Yeah.
I've been
really,
going back up and picking up a lot of the albums in the past that I liked, but I never owned until
right.
now. I mean, all
Mhm.
these albums that I'm starting to go back and I liked it in the past, but I never really paid that much attention to it. I'm starting to go back and buy, and of course, I did. I got that the Holly Humberstone album that we talked
That's a
about in the
great
mail
one.
this week,
Yeah.
and yeah, I mean, so this show has definitely been influencing my purchases lately a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm over on my Apple Music. It's got friends, what our friends listening to, and it's really been a hodgepodge of different stuff, and I
Yeah.
love it. And I'm glad that we are doing this. And speaking of new artists, today we are going to be listening or talking about Towa Bird. She released an album called Gentleman, and she released it probably about 2 weeks ago. She is English, and she's a singer, songwriter, guitar player, and she plays and a multi instrumentalist. And this was new to me. I found her on Out Nation, on Sirius XM. So I listened to her single, and then I listened to her album. I said, you know what? This is something I wanted to bring up to the guys and to share with you guys out there as well. And when y'all watch Pop Go the Rockers, so we are going to be talking about Toa Bird. The album is called Gentleman, and it was released about 3 weeks ago. So first impression, Jerry, of the album.
Yeah, it was definitely one of the more alternative poppy albums that we've done so far. And just reading into her, she's like you said, she's a guitar player. I guess she rose to fame on TikTok doing like covers of other people's, like just playing guitar. And I watched a couple of videos, and she was a pretty damn good guitar player. And she is partners with Renee Rapp, a fabulous singer. If you ever heard her sing, she's got an amazing voice. 27 years old. It's amazing these talented ladies that we've been talking about lately, man. Just
Yep.
they play the instruments nowadays in pop music, and I love that. Yeah, and this was as I said, it was a different listen to what we've been um into, I
Doing.
guess. I don't know, but looking forward to talking about this. A couple of the songs that I did like the opening track, Gentleman. I thought it was pretty cool. Very punk and poppy at the same time. That make any sense? You really heard
Mhm.
both of those, I thought. It's one of those tunes. I wouldn't necessarily call it an earworm, but it definitely stays with you after you hear it. It stays in your head, you know what I mean, for a while.
Yeah.
Which I thought that was pretty cool. Don't want to hear about it. I thought that was cool. That's more of a straight up pop song, in my opinion. Really dug the chorus in that one. When I was expecting that chorus to come, I was expecting something really loud and punky, but it was this really nice, flowing, vocally controlled chorus, which I liked. And so shout out for her for that, because you know I've learned that by watching other people's singers and hearing teachers say it's hard once you get into a certain tone to either tone down or turn up quickly. And
Mhm.
I don't know how if she can do this live or not, but at least in the studio, I think she does it quite well. I think she has a really interesting, nice voice, man. So that was cool. I also like Daisy. Um, I love the simplicity of the instrumentation on this song. Sometimes you can do a lot and just kind of everything gets lost, but I think the simplicity of the instruments, the register of her vocals on that song, that's what works on this song. You take like your highly produced albums, like let's take Hysteria, for instance, where you got like 30 different layers of guitars and stuff. It's just something kind of gets lost, you know what I mean? But
Right.
I noticed a couple of the songs, especially Daisy, it's just very simple. It's a few instruments and her singing, which was cool.
Yeah, yeah, that was kind of a low key track
Yeah,
that had that low vibe to it. It wasn't a ballad. It was just a
right.
I don't know how to say it. It was
It
just
was
a
a
smooth
simple song, a
smooth
simple
track.
tune,
Yeah.
which is in the last song I want to talk about is Victoria. I think that's my favorite song on the album. Love the music behind it, that acoustic and that little electric guitar riff she does all the way through it. That I think that sounds really cool. Um, again, simplicity is definitely more. This is another track that I think has that. And yeah, I enjoyed some of the songs. I didn't like the whole album as a whole, but those four songs were definitely my favorite on the album.
Okay. Joe, what stuck out to you, and what's been going on in your head about this album?
So I'm very torn on this album. Listening to it, I listened through it a couple times just because I couldn't nail down what I really thought about it. So when you first picked the album, um, it wasn't necessarily when you first picked it. It was last week at some point when I think we ended up re-talking about like which album you were picking.
Right.
Um, I went and I listened to the first track, the title track, just to kind of preview, just to kind of get an idea of okay, what's this going to be like, and I hated it. I absolutely hated the title track, and I know that was one of the ones Jerry picked.
Really?
I still don't.
I
I
dug
still
it.
don't like it. I still really don't like it. I that the kind of punky poppy alt kind of sound, not really my thing.
You're not a punk person, are you? You're not a punk
I
fan,
am
are
not a
you?
punk person at all.
Yeah, you
No.
told me that before. Yeah.
Um, no. And especially like kind of that sound, I just wasn't a fan. I was like, oh, please tell me that the entire album's not like this. And
It was
thankfully, it's not.
it
Thankfully,
was
it's not.
very Avril Lavigne.
Yes, it is very
If
Avril
I had to
Lavigne,
say something,
and yeah. What were you saying, Andy?
and but also the chorus kind of remind me of the Runaways as well.
Yeah, a little bit, a little bit. And I am infamously not a Runaways fan. I'm much more of a fan of all of their members when they went out and did their own thing because
Yeah.
Joan Jett started sounding like an actual rock singer and Lita Ford became Lita Ford, and I'm
Yeah.
much happier with that than anything that they did when they were the Runaways. So, yeah, I was not a fan at all. And I was just like, please, please do not let the entire album be like this.
Come on,
And thankfully it wasn't.
Cherry Bomb, no?
I love Joan Jett's version of Cherry Bomb.
I've been
hate
loving
the Runaways version of Cherry Bomb.
I've been
So
loving
like
punk
when
music
Joan Jett
lately.
does it live, I think it's great. When Lita Ford does it live, it sucks ass because she does the Runaways version. Joan Jett does Joan Jett's version.
Yeah.
So it's yeah, not a Runaways fan at all. But so then when I actually sat down to listen to the album, I listened to that song again. I'm like, yep, nope, still don't like this at all. Get to the second track, Dirty Habit. I'm like, okay, this I can get with. This I can get with. I like that song. That was a good track. I really enjoyed that one. The next couple songs, I'm like, yeah, these are good. Some of them got a little bit more punky, like the first track. I'm like, eh. And then we got to another one that Jerry brought up, which was Don't Want to Hear About It. And I really, really dug that track. I thought that, like Jerry said, it was really cool, poppier. I think she has a great ear for those kind of hooks. And I think she has a really good, some really good hooks in that song. And then the song right after it, which was my favorite on the album, Afterglow. I thought that was a beautiful pop tune. I really, really dug that song.
I have that one on here. I forgot to read it out. You're right.
I think that of the different sounds on the album, I prefer when she kind of has that more straightforward pop sound because I think she can do it really well. And even though I'm not a fan of the punkier stuff, I can tell that she's good at it. Even though it's not necessarily what I want to hear, I can tell she's good at it. But Afterglow is definitely my favorite track on the album. I really, really dug that one. I thought it was definitely a strong showing for her. And then I agree on Victoria as well. That's a beautiful closing track. That's not the first time that we've reviewed an album where the closing track was a bit more of a ballad. And I think that when done right, and I think this was done very right, I think that that can be a powerful thing. I think it works very well as a closer. And I think it was a beautiful track. Like Jerry said, I think the guitar on that was really great. The piano, the way it kind of all melted together, I think they did that she did a really good job on that. Now, where I'm torn is I am kind of where Andy was last week with the Sabrina Carpenter album. That I think that even the stuff I liked on this album is extremely derivative. I do not think that she has a sound of her own, truly. I think that you can hear her kind of going back and forth from these different things. You can say, I'm glad that Andy, you mentioned Avril Lavigne. That was the first thing I thought of when I heard the punkier songs was, okay, so this is 2026 Avril Lavigne. Gotcha. And then the poppier songs, I could hear some Olivia Rodrigo in stuff like Afterglow and Victoria. I could hear Olivia Rodrigo, even down to almost the vocal tone. I could hear Olivia Rodrigo doing some of those songs.
Yeah,
and
I think
so
she's opening it up for Rodrigo.
Is she? Okay.
Yes.
So that makes sense then.
Yeah.
So I think that even the stuff that I liked, and that's where I kind of struggle with the album, was that I think that the album is very, very generic. I don't think it had a lot that really kind of like spoke to me necessarily. I think that everything that was done on the album was done well. I think the instrumentation was great. I really do think that it was produced well, like Jerry said, that it wasn't overproduced and it wasn't underproduced. I think it was produced really kind of where it needed to be for what it was. But for me, it was very much, yep, this is an album. This is this is that. And I think that I know this is her second album, so I mean I know she hasn't been around in the music business for a very long time. I think it's probably 3 or 4 years now. I really don't think she's necessarily developed her own voice yet. And I think that is where I kind of struggle with this album a little bit. And I know we've talked a lot about, especially some of the recent episodes we've done about lyrics and stuff. It wasn't. I was trying to listen in for the lyrics on this album, and it really wasn't sticking out to me. It was very just kind of, yep, this is what she's singing about, and it was just kind of very run of the mill lyrically. And like I said, I don't think it didn't really kind of have its own voice to me. So even though there was quite a few songs that I really did enjoy, and I do see myself going back to some of the songs, it wasn't an album as a whole that really kind of grabbed me. And so that's why I'm kind of really torn with it, because I liked it, but it wasn't one that I'm like, yeah, this is a really, really, this is an album that I can see myself going back to.
You like
lyrically, I think
run in the mill kind of thing.
I think lyrically it's really good. I thought some of the stories and the songs I thought were really good, but I don't know. I mean, I hear what you're saying on some of these things, Joe. So anyway, I didn't interrupt you, Andy.
Oh no, I was just saying. So I kind of think that this album is kind of a run in the mill kind of thing.
Yes, yeah. It felt very, very, very middle of the road, like trying to be a lot of different things. I honestly, I would give her a lot more credit if she would have just stuck with, even if it wasn't what I wanted to hear. I think if she would have just stuck with the one sound and kind of tried to play around with some different variations on that sound, I think I would have given her more credit for that than trying to kind of play it honestly a little bit safe. And okay, here's my punkier sound, but also I'm going to put a couple kind of safe pop songs on the album as well. And even though the safe pop songs are the ones that I liked more, I think that it kind of dimmed the album as a whole for me, because it really didn't have the feeling like it was a complete creative statement. It kind of felt a little disjointed.
You see, and where you say disjointed, I think it was more adventurous because there's so many different sounds on here. I will get on because I'll talk about the tracks that I liked that y'all haven't mentioned at all. So I will explain a little bit more. But I thought that this album had a lot of different variation. It went from pop, punk, some classic rock, some moody guitar work, and I thought that it kept the album interesting.
Hmm.
that there was a different turn everywhere you went. But that's how I heard it. The songs that stuck out to me are going to be "Dirty Habit." I really like that one, and I'm hoping that that's a second single that is released because you're right with "Gentlemen." When I heard it, it was just okay, but the album I think is better than the single that they released for "Gentlemen."
Yeah.
So for
And
"Dirty
I agree.
Habit,"
I think Dirty Habit could be a good single. I think that could get some good play.
yeah, because it's got a combination of like alternative pop with keyboards with some strong rock riffs
Yep.
that are underlying the current of it, and I like that. I really like the song "Dog." I thought it was a really slow burner with a bluesy pop track. I dig the sludgy slowdown.
Mhm.
It's slowed down, and she tuned down the guitar where it kind of got kind of sludgy there. And I was kind of surprised that y'all didn't pick that track. I like the
I did like
metaphor of
that
her
one. That was
being.
one that I didn't mention, but I did like that one.
I like the metaphor of being treated like a dog, and I love the burst of the guitar solo at the end to close out the track. I thought that was fantastic. Also, Your Girl. I like Your Girl. The opening riff made me think of Survivor's Eye of the Tiger because it went dun, 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 dun. It was a
Yeah.
pretty cool little beginning to that. I dig the way she flawlessly moves from pop to rock riffs. I love the chorus on this track. That's right. I really did dig it. 69 BPM. That was another track that was so different from everything else. It was a slow burn of a track. I like the way she slows this down and the guitar landscaping here and there. You know how she would throw in some riffs that we hadn't heard in this album yet. So I like that, and I like the alarming and charming guitar solo at the end. All Gone is another track that's got a guest vocalist on there by the name of Kathleen Hanna, who is from Bikini Kills, and she's also married to Ad Rock of Beastie Boys. They've been married since '06, so they've been married for 20 years, and I really like that duet because you don't hear that many duets anymore. So it's really cool to hear a different female vocal open up the second verse, and I really dig that. I did like Daisy. Um, it always comes to I always like titles of a song that has that's got a person's name in it because it's a personal song and it's going to be about someone or it's going to describe someone, and I really like that a lot. And Victoria, I think, was a good closer. I really am digging that quietness to close out an album,
Yeah, me too.
and the like y'all said, the guitar work on it is very low key, but it's also very different as well. It's a very talented guitar playing at the end there. So I think this album was a big thumbs up for me. I really enjoyed it. Um, every time we pick an album, I think Joe mentioned this last week. I always wonder what you guys are thinking when I'm hearing this album. Is this the song that they're going to like? Because we know each other's taste so well, but also we surprise each other. It's so much fun. So I do give this album a thumbs up. Jerry, what else did you want to add about this album?
Yeah, I'm just saying, it's I'm reading, I can't find anything about her if she writes these songs on her own or has help. I can't find anything about the album as far as on the internet at the moment.
Yeah,
But it's kind of cool finding out her early influences. She was always around Pink Floyd, Jimi Hendrix, The Who.
Bowie
She
was a big
described
one.
she describes Jimi Hendrix's RE experience as a very formative and very influential album as a teenager. So I'm loving the fact that these younger artists are digging the cool bands like that. That's another thing I like about a lot of, and I'm noticing a lot with these kids nowadays, man. I'm old, so I can call them kids, all right. They're starting to really appreciate that type of music, and I don't know if that's a statement about today's music or they're just not or just around it
Well,
and
I
love
I
it.
think a lot of it is the age of their parents, Jerry. She's the same age as me,
True.
so she was probably brought up on a
Well,
lot of the same music that I was.
that's true.
So I think a lot of these artists that are around my age, I think that has a lot to do with it. Is there was that era in like the last generation of pop stars. Their parents were listening to 50s, 60s music probably, whereas this generation, their parents were listening to 70s, 80s music. And so I think you see a lot more of that influence coming in, and you see especially who they're collaborating with. If they're collaborating with older musicians, who they're collaborating with. And you see, I mean, Sabrina Carpenter right now collaborating with Madonna and Stevie Nicks. So that's that kind of generation that they are looking back towards. I think the same thing. I think the same thing with Toa here, that those influences, I think it has a lot to do with probably the generation that their parents are.
Sure. Yeah. It's good to see, like you said, the Sabrina Carpenter and Stevie Nicks thing, these generations connecting and doing something together. I think that's great. I really do. Yeah. That seemed to be go ahead, Andy. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. I just wanted to add, because we're talking about influences. It's just like Somber with Wendy from the Revolution. I mean, you can hear it, but I never connected it together. You know, it's the same thing. Go ahead, Jerry. I'm sorry.
Here's a quote that Andy's going to love this one. She cites the Beatles as her most musically and aesthetically the best band in the world, and Abbey Road is her favorite album. How about that? Wow.
Oh, what's your favorite album?
Abbey Road.
Okay.
So, I mean, that's really cool. It says she's really into bands like Blur. I never heard of Kasabian before. Have you guys never heard of them?
Yes,
heard of them?
Yeah.
Have it. The Vaccines, I never heard of them either.
The Vaccines are punk.
Yeah.
They are
and the punk Strokes.
That Joseph don't like.
And the Strokes. She's really big into those bands now. Yeah. So kind of cool. I mean.
You like the Strokes, Joe?
I really don't know much of theirs.
Okay.
You know what? I'll give it a 75% thumbs up.
That's exactly where I was going to give it as well. Was it kind of a halfway between thumbs in the middle and thumbs up? I'm right around 75% because, like I said, there was a lot that I did enjoy on this album, but it was just I think that as an album, I couldn't get in. I definitely see this as an album that I'm going to go back and cherry pick songs off of, and not necessarily go back and sit down and listen to it as a whole. Well, I mean, it's not a long album. It's 37 minutes or something.
It's like 37.
It's not one that I see myself going back and listening to the entire thing in order. I could see myself going back and probably about half the songs going back individually to them. Okay. So I do. It's above a middle because I do like quite a bit of it, but it's not a full-throated endorsement, let's say.
Yeah.
That is a 2.25, and that is a pass. Wow. Okay.
And I will. I think this is an album that I can listen to from beginning to end. I really think it has a lot of different variation where she keeps things interesting. And right now, I'm starting to go through the year 2002. Joe, you were saying that you couldn't think of any albums from 2002. I'm gonna get a list and just send it to you, and just to see what you think about those.
I started to look. I went on Wikipedia, started to look. I think I made it through like September, and I think I had like 6 albums that I had actually heard before. Okay. Because there's a really good Korn album from that year, I know. That was about all I can remember, honestly.
Oh yeah, there was a really good Queens of the Stone Age was also a good album too.
Yes. Yeah, that was another one that I saw.
I saw a couple of others. I like Coldplay, so they were really hitting the stride at that in 2002. So. Mm-hmm. But there were some others that I will bring up with you.
I'll have to go on Wikipedia again, write down the list of albums that I know or like, and compare it to the one that you send me, and see what I can find.
All right,
and see if there's anything that you don't have on your list that I would recommend.
Okay, sounds good. Sounds very good, Jerry. So what's going on? Hey, so what's going on with y'all's other show, Heavy Water 77?
If you're a Styx fan by any chance, check out Heavy Water 77, another YouTube channel that me and Joe do. We have fun doing that, talking about one of our favorite bands, Styx. We just released one of James Young's solo albums, so take a break from the pop and tune on over there and get some classic rock inside you. You know, we're invading your territory. Come aboard to ours. Reciprocate. You know. And next week is my pick.
Yes.
Yep.
I will be Madison Beer's Locket album. It was a request from a friend of mine at work. I heard the name. I don't know nothing about her, so that's going to be interesting. Maybe I heard her songs on the radio and just don't know it. So looking forward to that. Are you guys familiar with her at all?
No, this is the
I've
first
heard the
time I've seen
name.
her name in
Yeah.
print.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I know the name.
All right, cool. All right, Andy, take us out, man.
All right. Once again, we are Pop Culture Rockers from myself, Jerry, and Joseph. Thanks for watching, and we'll be with y'all back next week. Bye, guys.
Take care.